If I fall head over feet, and don't be surprised if I love you for all that you are. And I couldn't help it, it's all your fault. Y'all remember that song? Somebody come get her, she's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get her, she's spilling all the liquor. Somebody needs to get her, cause I spent a lot of money on that bottle. I mean, seriously, somebody come get her. I had to drive to DeSoto to get that bottle. There's too many cops on I-35. How's it going, everyone? Tim here with another Tim Talks. I think this is 31 or so. I don't even know, who cares? But the thing is today's video is going to be an interesting one. I wanted to talk about dating a little bit to open, and was just kind of writing some stuff down, and I've been writing a lot lately, but it just sort of made me think, you know, like whenever we think about the concept of dating or love, you know, I mean, for me, my mind tends to go to, well, the subjective feeling of love is something that only the individual can interpret. And for that reason, it's something that we will never know the true definition of. And it's kind of that way with everything, really, because we're all just relying on our own interpretations of what everything means in life. Like, for instance, with comedy, people will tell you, oh, you know, at 10 years, you'll finally make it. You got to be doing this for 10 years. Whenever that's not necessarily true. I mean, guys have done it in a lot less time than 5 years, you know, 1 year for some people. And so it's really very narrow-minded to go around and tell people, you know, these false, these false little bits of information that shape your perception of how difficult something should or shouldn't be. So it's subjective, and ultimately the truth of love is that it's harsh. The human kingdom is the animal kingdom in a way, and we are a vicious species, and a lot of guys, I mean mainly men, cannot understand the concept of going after, you know, difficult goals or trying to strive to be just better than the day before. Masculinity is something that females are naturally attracted to by nature. So whenever you have this confidence about you, this aura, and a life filled with successful paths of passive income, whenever a female sees this type of individual, his market value in the love marketplace is higher than, well, I mean, most of anyone's, you know? I mean, you take one guy like me who's just a random, and then you compare him to, you know, like a Tony Hinchcliffe who's a professional stand-up comedian and, you know, has a portfolio like 18 pages long, I don't know. He's successful. The chances of him to me getting laid are virtually the same to some degree, but on a different level, he has more of a chance because he's so successful. And that's the crazy thing about life, is that you're kind of forced into a corner, like I am right now. But you're kind of forced into a corner to succeed and to carve your own path in life and to not be dependent on anyone.
Yeah, I'll take your barbecue Bergen.
Bergen?
Barbecue bourbon?
Yeah, the
Bourbon barbecue.
yeah, bourbon barbecue.
And so that's where it kind of comes into love for me, you know, like, well, I can't be dependent on anyone for my sanity or happiness or, you know, state of mood at any given point, because sometimes people die and they leave your life, and They leave your life in other ways. They might not physically die, but they go away from your life and you don't have that connection anymore. The bridge is burnt and it'll probably never get reconstructed, but there is always a factor that you have to keep in mind with dating. It's like your actions always have consequences. It could be good or bad. Consequences are usually looked at as bad, but I mean, sometimes there are good consequences. Consequence just means something that happens after a sequence of events. So yeah, I mean, may make you, a little anxious, maybe filled with anguish because you feel all this kept up love in you that you want to spread and give, and you want to have sex with somebody, and that's the law of attraction. You have desire towards someone, it's soothing to your soul to think, well, if I could get with this beautiful girl that you see at the bar and you're like, damn, everything's on point. If I could get her in my bed tonight and just bang, 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 and that would be just, that I would be set. But the truth is, I mean, you could have that and it would be a fun time, but, could have been writing a book in that spare time. Not to say that writing a book is better than sex, it's just, I don't know. Sorry, I took out my headphones because I think they were dying. But, I mean, it's just so crazy. I've seen so many things on Reddit advice, Ask Reddit, where it's like people will be talking about like, oh, I had an affair with this and that, and I'm like, damn, you people, you must have rushed into your marriage if you're just trying to have an affair. I've heard of people just cheating like the day of, and like it's a strange thing, like like the girls will have like, well, I've seen it on the internet, like they'll have some sort of party where it's like she'll be doing, well, it's very inappropriate anyway. She'll basically like, it's her one last time to have sex with a guy, that's not her husband. But even though they're getting married already, it doesn't really make sense. And it's almost like our culture nowadays just kind of accepts that. I don't think we should. I think we should have a higher standard to love and connection. Marriage should be more of a, looked at as more of a respected bond between two humans and not disregarded, and definitely not in the hands of the government to be taxed upon. And, certain people can get benefits for certain things, it would just make it more fair down the line. I'm single. I don't have a single tax. I'm pretty sad. I think I could use it with a little extra stimulus check, in my pocket. Maybe I'd make a business or something, selling weed. It could make you sad. It could make you angry. Love, it can make you irrational. People have killed in the name of love. Romeo and Juliet. Can leave you loathing and can leave you dead. I mean, just like I mentioned, it's something that's insane. It's a phenomena that we don't even yet understand. I'm sure that people have done like brain scans and seen certain activity in certain parts of the brain where, love is experienced, but ultimately our feelings and the reason why we feel them, we don't even know why. We could connect it to a certain sequence of events, but as far as we know, the way that we perceive the world is as it is. And no, I don't think we're in a simulation. I mean, everything seems real enough, it's just maybe the simulation is the fact that we're governed by other external forces. Who's to say that we don't really just have all the power in our own hands to do anything we want? We're not constrained by any 9-to-5 job, not constrained by any student debts, But made me want to go into comedy. Probably a good segue, but it just makes me think, like, you could be doing open mics, and it's a huge investment. Doing comedy is an emotional investment and a time-oriented investment where you have to write and bring your best material. You also have to meet and talk to people. I mean, it's just what you should do as a person. And I'm realizing now, like, I'm not a social butterfly. I'm not the most social guy. I wish I could be more, but I don't know, it seems to slip me. But you kind of have to be instinctual, you know? You have to kind of be off kilter. Finally, guys, I'm gonna end with my... oh, well, Kill Tony's coming. I might as well mention it. I mean, Kill Tony's coming to Dallas tomorrow, so by the time you see this video, it'll probably be today, but it doesn't matter. It's Friday, November something, 13th, I think, at Hyenas in Dallas. I'm gonna be there. Hopefully a lot of you guys will be there. But I want y'all to come out and hang out. Maybe I'll get my name called up and heck, I'll be on the show. I really hope so, man. But anyway, my predictions for November. See, we have until January until the office relinquishes its power to the next administration. So I've heard a lot of people talking. People seem to think that Joe Biden is the current president now. Probably that way because they're posting pictures and making statements and speeches and making this poster, standing in front of a poster that says the office of the president-elect. Okay, that doesn't exist. There is no office of the president-elect. There is no such thing. That's absolutely hilarious, comical, but then people look at it like it's some sort of like revolutionary move. Like a Democrat was elected. We've had plenty of Democrats. You remember Bill Clinton? He was a Democrat, and he wasn't very the most like moral guy, I remember, you know. But I'm not here to trash Democrats at all. I'm just pointing out some things that I think are funny. And you can try to help me understand this. Like, someone please comment. You know, I've been trying to say some of this stuff, like, very truthfully and just from my own words as much as I can, so I can elicit some comments and maybe some sort of a conversation that we can have. I highly encourage you to comment. And, I mean, my predictions, dude, I really still believe that Trump will win this presidency. I think that's a really crazy statement even just to say, but I mean, I'm gonna put money on it, you know, because I don't believe that the administration currently is going to have any sort of debauchery in their claims in court. I don't think there's going to be any sort of type of evidence that's going to substantiate that there wasn't fraud, because there's too much evidence that stacks up. And I will say this, there's going to be something, and it's going to be big. I don't know, I can't quite pinpoint it, but I feel it, guys. Something is coming, and I don't know if it's going to be good. We've experienced COVID, and that was a huge hit and a societal change for sure. But when this next year hits, I am not too sure what we're gonna do. There's gonna be economic strife. There has to be another crash, I mean, eventually. It's almost like the government like manufactures ebbs and flows to the government, or to the economy, because naturally the economy will rise and fall. But whenever the market takes on its own behavior, it rises to the point where there's no more for it to rise, and therefore the huge collapses that you've seen, like in 2008, the 20s, the Great Depression, those collapses are so much more because there's no control over it. It's purely anarchy, really. The economy is in anarchy in a way. There's nothing governing the economy in a way. Of course, the government controls the economy, but they don't control what happens with the economy on a day-to-day basis. It can change given any circumstance. So it's almost like the economy has a life of its own. And so for that reason, we're in such a shaky type of societal time where everything's so tense that the rubber band is bound to pop and smack the earth in its hand. And we may very well have some sort of dispute domestically. The reason why I believe it is because I hear talks of civil war, you hear civil war, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I partly believe it. I mean, civil war seems like kind of excessive, but like I stated, I mean, a domestic dispute amongst our country, yes, I would definitely believe could be possible. Because we're left and right now. It's you're either Democrat or you're Republican. And if you're in the middle, then you didn't pick a spot. And, you know, that's not fair. So, guys, let's think about it. Let's hope that, you know, the rest of this year is beautiful. I want y'all to have some happy holidays. Make sure you get your shopping done early, you know, because the prices are going to be crazy this year. Trust me on that. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Wish me luck on my stand-up, and peace out.